Good morning. It is the weekend and we got a little bit of time. We're on the second video here of the Mercedes-Benz. Can you believe that I own a Mercedes-Benz? What are you doing, Sherman? How about you, Tank? What are you doing? What do you guys think of it? Okay. Get that hood emblem. Yeah. So we're gonna give this thing some TLC that it hasn't had. Come on, Tank, seriously? Here she be. I've been told, thanks Greg, he's telling me that this is a piece of trim that does not appear to be factory. That center trim that might have been put on aftermarket. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a general fluids, you know, oil change, air filter, things of that nature. So I placed an order onto FCP Euro, which I've never purchased anything from there before. We have an air filter, and I tried to go with brands that were made in Europe, or kind of like the AC Delcos and the Motorcrafts of European vehicles for Mercedes. So we have air filter, we have transmission pan gasket and filter, also it has a drain plug on the trans pan, and that is a new washer for that. We have an oil filter and a oil pan gasket with, again, a drain plug, and the oil cap seal leaks, so I ordered one of those. And then this, I got 3 of these, but these are some of the seals you need for doing both of the fuel filters. So there's the primary and then the secondary pre-screen. First things first is we're gonna get this thing out of the garage, back it out, start it up. It's 60 degrees right here in the garage, so it's nice and warm. Push it outside and get the car warmed up, drive it a couple miles, come back in, get ready to drain all the fluids out of it, and we'll go from there. Finally got the car up on ramps. Gonna get some jack stands underneath it, and we are going to start draining the fluids while they're warm. Well, this is the way it goes with old cars. Here's the oil pan drain plug, oil drain plug, and then this was the crush washer that was on it, aluminum. This is the one that I bought new that's supposed to be for this car. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. So annoying, so I'm gonna have to reuse the old one. At least it has one on it. And then I have the transmission drain plug, which says it's this guy here, which does look correct. You like the Mercedes? Okay. I will leave it at that. This is not a how-to, I'm just showing what I'm doing. All the bolts cracked loose for the transmission pan. I drained the fluid already. I got the last 2 bolts here, and just gonna drop that pan. I'm not gonna film it. It's so hard to film this stuff without getting oil on everything. Here's the oil pan. The oil looks clean in it, so that's good. Engine oil, and then here's the transmission, which again, a little bit brown, but I mean, all things considered here, being that it's got 190,000 miles on it, that's pretty clean. So that's nice. Engine underneath here with the oil pan removed, and I was just grabbing the timing chain to try and feel for how much slop I can get, like a little bit, but I don't think that feels pretty good. It's not like that thing's jumping off the tooth. So I'm gonna clean up. I can't really see much anything else. The oil pan only is the front of the engine. This is an inline 5, so I can only see one cylinder up the actual bore of it, but the piston's all the way down, so can't even see inside the cylinder walls. But well. So yeah, there we go. It's obviously there's a pretty serious oil leak. You can see all the oil everywhere. And I think I'm going to investigate that. From what I'm used to, this thing is rust free. So that's cool. I'm going to get all this oil out of here, get the gaskets off of it, clean it up, make sure the new gaskets look the same. Here we have the transmission and oil pan for the Mercedes. Got it all cleaned up. Look at that pan. Wow. So I just took some chemicals and cleaned it up. This one had, they hit a rock or something, had a pretty good gouge in it. But it wasn't leaking, no hole. I just used chemicals to clean that up. And then I hit it with a Scotch-Brite, red Scotch-Brite. Roughed up the glossy surface. You know, believe it or not, this stuff, you know, this is a South Carolina car. These pans they weren't rusting. I mean, the only spot they were even starting to rust is where they were hit. And it's like, it's just crazy because I'm not used to that. I'm used to all rusted up stuff. So there was really no rust on it. I just wanted to paint it because I had it off. Why not? You know, it takes extra time, but I wanted to, you know, I want to try and keep the stuff nice. That's what you have for transmission. Looks like Phillips had screwdrivers. Got the trans pan here. Been dry for a while. Let's see how this goes in here. It's got little clips that when you push it down, they grab onto the edge of it. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna get this on here all the way with two hands. And yeah, I looked up the torque spec on these, and they're pretty big bolts. I mean, they're a 13mm head bolt, and it's 62 inch-pounds. Don't take my word for that. That's just my Googling. You guys do your own research, but inch-pounds, baby. That's like not much. But someone said on the message board it's very important to evenly torque them, which it's always important, but when you're working with that low amount of torque, man, that seems low. But they were not tight. I'll tell you what, they were not tight taking them out. So trans pan is on there. Drain plugs in, all torqued down. I went like a lug nut to divide it up evenly so it was evenly distributed. Now the next step is to get the oil drain pan ready. First, before I get this in there, I did clean this. It was kind of dark. So let's see how good of a job I did here. Okay, good. I tried to scrape all the old gasket off and did a pretty good job. I gotta go underneath and do the same thing with the engine block. Alright, I just took a red Scotch-Brite pad and I cleaned the gasket mating surface all the way around, and then I just cleaned it up with a little bit of alcohol just to finish it. I already cleaned it with the wire brush and the chemicals. Let's take a little alcohol. Hi, tank. And clean this off. See how dirty that can be? That was with a pretty much clean situation. I'm gonna take this perma gasket just a little bit, taking just a super thin amount. There you go. I got the gasket on, and then I put a really light coat of that stuff on the other side, and let's put it up. There you go. I got the oil pan on. Everything's done, and I actually sprayed the bolts afterwards with a little bit more engine paint just for the heck of it, keep them from rusting a little bit longer, and the drain plug. So that's it. Got the hood almost vertical. Has this little latch. You can lift it up and lift it at a higher elevation, which is pretty cool. And then here's the transmission dipstick. You gotta flip this lever, then pull it up. I couldn't figure it out. So we got the trans pan on. We got the, oh look at that, it won't even fit. Can you believe that? And I'm gonna have to hold it. Well, I can't show you guys then. But anyway, we're gonna get a gallon of transmission fluid in there. It's calls for Dextron 3, so I got some and I'm gonna use it. Don't take my word on how much fluid it should take. You guys do your own research. This is just a gallon to get me so I can start it and test it. I was looking at the other fluids, popped the washer fluid. I looked in there and I was like, oh, that's probably water. Because this car came from South Carolina, I guess people just put water in their washer fluid because it doesn't freeze. It got down to the teens. I'm sure that pump is ruined. We'll find out. What a bummer. I guess I should test it with water before I use fluid in there. I wonder what the antifreeze is at. Jeez, I should check that. I just checked the antifreeze in it and it's good for 20 below Fahrenheit right here. That's good. That means that block didn't freeze. But the washer system, Certainly not the most important, but definitely something that's probably been frozen now, and I need to look and test it. Just siphoned out all the water that they had inside of the washer situation. We're gonna put in some 25 below zero washer fluid for the winter time, and then I'm just gonna, it did get down in the teens, and I just tested it with water in it, and it did not break anything. Cannot believe it. I'm gonna lubricate the throttle linkage here. This is the whole linkage. There's a lot going on there. That's not just one piece. I'm gonna use this chain guard. This is synthetic chain lube for dirt bikes, but it says right on it that it will not harm plastic or rubber, because there's little plastic pieces on every so often on some of these joints, like right there, little bushings and stuff. But I don't want to ruin that stuff. But like this, let's try and, you know, just to keep it from being a mess. So we got 12.8 volts. It's over 1,000 cold cranking amps. She's warm. Good. And I'm just checking all the fluids. And this is where, I mean, this is the power steering pump, so it kind of makes sense that the fluid level would be here. But it's just goofy. Used to American vehicles, got to take this wing nut off. And I have never looked in here yet. I'm just reading up on this car. I guess there's a spring. Okay. Alright, and it says there's a ledge back there that you can see, and that's where it needs to be up to. So it's a little low, and boy oh boy is she dark. We're going to do a little bit of power steering fluid service. Did a little research. There appears to be a drain plug on the steering gear. There's some other videos on YouTube to show this better, but it's just to the driver's side of the pitman arm. I clean that up with brake parts cleaner. It's a 12mm nut, bolt, whatever, and a plug. We're gonna crack that and drain her out. Well, I cracked that drain plug and like 3 drops came out. Got it to start draining. I just turned the wheel back and forth, and it's draining down here. So got a steady stream of fluid, and I just keep dumping in fresh fluid to try and just kind of just do a flush, you know, if it just keeps going through there. Not the worst. We got this new filter. I'm gonna drop that in. There we go. So push that on, and in order to get that all the air out, I just kept turning the wheel really slowly back and forth. I probably went back and forth like, I don't know, 5 times. You can see all the air burping out, and then I just kept adding fluid as it was going down. And I have the drain plug on the bottom, and once I start it, it might drink a little bit more. And here's the old fluid, black. Look at all the grime in there too. This pan was not that dirty. Wow. So we got obviously a little bit of an issue here with oil leaking out of the fill cap. I'm gonna clean it up here, and underneath here, inside that cap, is a little seal. I got a new seal here. So we have the bottom of the oil cap. I just took a pick here, pop that out, pull that out. Alright, clean this out. Okay, let's see if we can get this new one in there without, oh, easy. There we go, put it on there. Let's get this off. Get this out now. Here's the actual filter. This is like the filter housing cap that holds the oil filter. And okay, so I was watching a video, there's a little hole here that I guess oil goes from the top here through this tube, and it was not leaking. Now it's leaking out. It looks like it might be clogged here, so I'm gonna blow some carb cleaner or something down it with a straw and clear that out. So I saw that as a tip. And then the O-ring, the seal for this is definitely not a circle anymore. So we got a new O-ring and seal here, and we should be in good shape. For that, to replace that. There we go. Back and forth evenly. According to the internet, it takes 7.5 quarts per oil change. We'll put 6 in. I'm looking, there's no pre-filter here where there should be one. Fuel filter here. We're gonna crack this loose. Trying to keep this as flat as possible. Oh, look at that. Wow. Pretty clean. Alright. There's an O-ring right here. This floppy O-ring and then a crush washer. I guess that's the design. Jeez. Alright, here are the new O-rings and crush washer replaced on here, but I've since learned that there are multiple styles with different sealing versions, so do your own research and figure out which one you have. Take a little sandpaper and sand this. Alright, I got that scuffed enough. The bolt tightened down, just snug. I'm gonna see if it leaks. I'll snug it if I gotta tighten it more. And I got a zip tie here, and then I pushed the primer here, and I got the pre-filter filled, primed the system up, and hopefully she'll start. I also filled the filter with diesel too, so that helps a lot. The rear wiper assembly is missing, so there's just a hole going into the rear hatch. So take that cork and give it our best shot. There you go.
Maybe Sherman's little face.
Sherman. Okay, let's see if it starts. Car probably hasn't seen snow ever, maybe in a long time. Okay, fuel filters worked.